Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and this is a chat that's converted into a podcast on Spotify and on iTunes called Francis Fox News from Other Dimensions. I've been trained in interspecies communication, remote viewing with a really strict protocol that makes for very accurate readings. I've also been trained in all the other psychic skills. I do weekly horoscopes, but I am not an astrologer. I have no training there. If you put a gun to my head and said, do my astrological chart, I would say pull the trigger because I can't do that because I was not trained in astrology. But I can tell you what the planets are sending you, which is how I do my weekly horoscopes. I was sex trafficked since I was a child. I was part of still too connected to a mind control program. Um, which was investigations into human potential superpowers, supposedly to turn the information over so that children in the United States could have the benefit. And of course, none of that ever happened. The turning it over to anybody. That was used as an excuse when there were requests for money for the program. There were supposedly many different versions of the program. I was in the original one in Germany right after the Second World War, when the countries that won went into Germany and took over and continued the research that they did. None of that was thrown out. These wicked Nazis did a lot of very interesting research, and our scientists, which are not bound by ethics, went in, took over, and continued to try to reproduce what the Nazis were able to do, and then to take it even further. There was a lot of assistance during the Nazi times, which I am not witness to, but I understand is the case, and it makes total sense with everything else that I know. There was a lot of help from off-planet energies. Um, and when I did the map today of the United States, what I see is that there's people in the Northeast that are negotiating with ETs. Coincidentally, in the Northeast is where, not today, but I have seen and mapped several times and discussed it, ETs invading the United States through the Northeast. Um, that would mean that the people that live there would not be real clear on a lot of things, and their intentions would not be the same as all of the rest of us that are not under that cloud, that energy, that interference, that transference. Um, it'd be interesting to see where those people fall, having to do with the conspiracies that are coming up. But I have to say that I'm completely over it. I'm completely over the process of disclosure. How can I be over it? It never started. And I understand that this is going to be very difficult. And I'm going to talk about some stuff because you know what? If somebody chops my head off, this is not working. My life is not working for me at this point anyway. So what the heck? From what I understand, the largest sex trafficking program in the history of the planet was Operation Peter Pan. Ah, a Disney name. Oh, coincidence, I'm sure. And it was totally upfront, run by the US CIA and the Vatican. I think there were like 15, 16,000 kids that came over and were dispersed throughout the United States. A lot of them wrote books, and most of them talked about the sexual abuse. I don't know that they talked about being sex trafficked. I have no idea. But the trick of the matter is that maybe part of the issue with not disclosing is that we have to take down an organization that has been controlling the children of the elite for centuries, which is the Catholic Church. When you see the Catholic Church, they want to help everybody, right? That's the thing. We're going to help the poor people. Give us your money. We're going to help the poor people. And then they set up schools. And from what I can see in the big cities, those are, or at least in Latin America, those are the schools where the elite send their children. So the elite in many countries, not just Latin America, are being trained and educated by an institution that perfected sex trafficking to such an extent that if you say that to somebody, or you say to them, the Catholic Church has been involved in a lot of sexual abuse for centuries, they go, yeah, we know. Meanwhile, the children are being sent to Catholic schools. Now, if you look at, and I can talk only about the countries what I know, the countries in Latin America, their elites are, the schools that they went to are mainly Catholic schools. When they're little kids, once they get older, they go to universities in different parts of the world because the family can afford it, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if that's what's holding this back, but the Pope, which it has been said that he will be the last Pope in history. Some people say he's already dead and they're just not saying it yet. But when this all comes out, maybe some kind of a veil that is put over normally really bright people, maybe that veil will come up. If you have an institution that has been known for several hundred years to be deeply involved to many of its people, its priests, etc., in sex abuse, then I think that you really probably shouldn't send your kid there, and yet you do. So, what is that all about? And I think when you start asking, what is that all about, you end up with the mind control thing. So, everything, from what I can see as an observer who has a lot of information, but certainly not all the information, not all the details, um, we need to hold that angle of mind control and not let go of that thread, because just the issue with the Catholic Church and intelligent, bright people who are going to be running countries and run countries still sending their children to these schools doesn't make any sense. And when it doesn't make any sense, you have to keep asking questions. Of course, it takes me to the whole thing. Why are they not putting two and two together? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead into the map. And then we're going to go ahead into something that you are not going to find interesting initially, which has to do with the element of earth. But you need to know that the ETs can't function well where there's a lot of the earth element. They can't. They don't function with the earth element, which is why they don't function well on the physical dimension on planet Earth. Maybe we need to remember that in our defenses against them. And then, if you know about the Lord's Prayer and what was done to it in terms of disinformation, you will find that the Lord's Prayer that you repeat was not the Lord's Prayer as it was given to us by what? The Bible, Jesus, God, whoever it is, because nobody's real clear on who actually gave the Lord's Prayer. When I read the Lord's Prayer, the version in Aramaic, I cried, because that version absolutely explains the human energy system, the energy bodies, the mind strings, which is string theory, but it's not a theory anymore. But we're not privy to that. But my point about the Lord's Prayer is the big emphasis is on the Lord, is on the earth element. When you are not anchored and grounded, it means you don't have enough of the earth element. You have too much air. You're up in the air. You're a space cadet, whatever. In the Lord's Prayer, it doesn't say deliver us from evil. It says help us to be in the present, which means not disassociated, which means help us to have enough of the earth element. The ETs can't function where there is the earth element. Remember that in the next several weeks, because it may help you a lot. So let's go with the map and then we'll get back to that. The map, if you look at it superficially, you'll go, it looks really, really good. And it does. Huge, very strong spaceship from the Galactic Federation in the United States. Gulf of America, same thing. Mexico, same thing. North Pole, same thing. Ukraine, no. Why did I put Ukraine there? I don't know, but I just felt that I needed to. Florida looks good, but it says protect DeSantis. They're going after DeSantis. and he's a trooper, but nobody can resist the stuff that's done. That's not the type of stuff that we're trained in, that we can understand. I don't know what this means, but I put up here mass hysteria at polar cap shifts. Now, I had said last week that there would be something happening that was going to change everything. And it felt like the earth was going to move, but it was going to be not a planetary invasion, but it was going to be like the earth was going to lift up something. And I don't know if that's the polar cap shift, but mass hysteria at polar cap shifts. This is today. I wasn't looking for anything in particular. I'm kind of very cranky. I don't have enough to do. I am sitting around entirely too much. I need movement. I cannot get it until it's safe to go outside. Who's going to come and tell me when it's safe? Well, certainly the news, kind of. There's nothing happening. Okay. At the bottom, what I put was people's belief systems will be the issue. The issue of what? Mass hysteria at polar cap shifts. Okay. Now, these Star of David is considered a talisman of protection. From what I read the other day, it's over 15,000 years old. They found this in caves, in the drawings. It is not a Jewish symbol. Judaism uses it as a symbol. It's not a Jewish symbol. It's called a talisman. That shape is a talisman, which means protection. So we're getting the protection in the United States, Mexico, Gulf of America, North Pole, not Ukraine. Why not Ukraine? There's something going on with Ukraine. We already know there's a lot going on with Ukraine, but there's something going on weird with Ukraine, that when our group went there 6 months ago, a year ago, to try to, when the war was like really hot, to try to reduce the fire element, we weren't getting any place. I mean, we didn't put a dent on anything. This got very tight right now. My throat got really, really tight right now. Okay, we didn't get any place. And I said, listen, I think we just need to get out of here. We're not getting any place. And a couple of the other readers in the group said, we're getting the same thing. We're not going to make a difference. So why throw ourselves against that wall? And we're fooling around with something that does not feel right. So Ukraine doesn't have any protection. What does that mean? I don't know. I have to give you information, and I am not supposed to, nor should I fill in the blanks if I'm not getting the information automatically. I can go after information a teeny weeny bit, but that already distorts the process. So I don't know why, but it doesn't have protection. This doesn't mean that they're aligned with something bad that's happening. It's great. No, that X is not good for Ukraine. Whatever it is that's going on, it's not good for Ukraine. But it's really good that we seem to be unhooking our wagon from Ukraine. Because this is not, whatever this is not a good thing. And it's not the kind of thing that we are capable of dealing with. And I do believe it has something to do with off-planet stuff. And maybe those minerals have to do with what, if you give me a second, maybe I can get a teeny weeny piece of information that will make this a little bit more interesting. There's just a big shakeup behind the scenes having to do with who owns what and who you have to negotiate with. Now, this is going to be interesting because here in the map it says negotiations with ET, and it's pointing to the Northeast, where the ETs were invaded, where they had a meeting several weeks ago that was similar to the meeting from that book, Iron Mountain, the report from Iron Mountain, which is where very prominent people in the United States got together, politicians, business people, whatever, to decide what to do to keep the economy going if there was no war. So they had a meeting a little bit similar to that, but with a lot of rage up here in the Northeast. So negotiations with ETs. The Ukraine thing has to do I believe it has to do with ETs. So these politicians from here, how are they doing having to do with the whole disconnecting from the ET, from the Ukraine issues? I don't know. But let me go back to the whole. This that I'm wearing is a Buddhist relic. I cannot get more of them, so don't even ask. Years ago, when we were working with a group of Buddhist monks to do ceremonies for everybody, if you paid for the ceremony, you got one of these. And I wish that we could do that again, but apparently they don't have enough because inside of it, supposedly, there are relics from what they consider saints, etc. And I can imagine that they wouldn't have enough of them because we had several hundred people that actually signed up for these events. Next. So, why am I going on with the whole Buddhism thing? First place, I want help. I'm petitioning right now on this chat. I need to bring in that group of Buddhist monks that are tantric monks, plus the Rinpoche that is tantric, that knows all about black magic and countries, and which most magicians haven't dealt with because that's at a level that most of us don't work at. But why? Because the monks, the Buddhists, the only people, all of their prayers include the issue of ETs, of aliens. Do you know anybody else? Is there any other group that since forever, not new, since forever have dealt with the issues of ETs having to do with their prayers and their petitions? I don't think so. The Buddhist monks, yes. Don't ask them about it because they're hermetic. They don't talk. But I do talk. I wish I could get the information from them. But why? The issue has always existed because they've always existed. They've always influenced this planet. There just seems to be more now. Anyway, so I need help in bringing in that particular group of monks, plus that particular Rinpoche. It's not a question of monks. It's not a question of geishas and Rinpoche. It's that particular group of monks, that particular Rinpoche, because I have already worked with them and I know the level that they work at. And they may be able to help guide us having to do with, I'm going to thank you. Having to do with ETs. I think that we're going to be dealing with them really soon. Let me say something. This is not putting down anybody who talks about ETs, which includes me and a lot of ex-military people. But the truth of the matter is that none of them, at least none of the ones that we've been able to hear from, can help us with this issue, which is becoming stronger every day. So that's my petition. Whatever you can do to help out Trump, Elon, whoever else that's at that level, because we're talking about getting visas and we're talking about paying for plane fares, we're talking about putting them up, which is you end up with kind of like 9 people. This needs to happen because setting up another commission in Congress to deal with this, give me a break. Look at the one they set up to handle the Epstein files. Ha 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 ha. Look, I'm going to be in charge of the Epstein files. Give me a break. Go back and put your cheerleader outfit on. This is very serious. This is not a game. We need to be dealing with people that are used to be dealing with these people, because I think the reason why the Galactic Federation is doubling down on the places that they feel that they could protect: United States, Gulf of America, Mexico, Arctic. They're doubling down for a reason. They're not doubling down to take over, because that group of galactics don't do that. They're doubling down for a reason. And it's not for nothing that they are talking about, I think, Uri Geller. Maybe I read it wrong, so don't quote me. I think he was invited to come to the United States. I don't know if it's this week, if it's next week. What a coincidence. But the people that talk about the technology and the spaceships and they saw, that's not the same thing as having to deal with them. People in the military, I'm not sure that they should be dealing with them. If you really think that we have the ability to hold our own against people that have spaceships that are this size, then you're not really thinking straight. Go to the back of the bus, please. Definitely don't try to drive the bus. Definitely don't be the person that reads the map. You are not ready. You're not ready, and you're not equipped, and you're not. The belief systems are very important. What does it say here at the bottom? People's belief systems will be the issue. Are we talking about? We're talking about something huge, planetary. When it says this, belief systems will be the issue, sounds like aliens to me. What does it have to do with polar cap shifts? Not really sure. But very clear here in the Northeast, which was they're always problematic, letting in ETs maybe. When we saw, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, no, I'm not going to be able to. Let's see if I can find it here. My desk is a little bit better. You know, sometimes I say things here and I go, maybe I shouldn't say that because somebody's going to get like really angry at me. Well, it's okay that people be angry at me because they've been angry at me my whole life. Everybody's been angry at me. The good guys, the bad guys. I'm going to find that map if you don't mind me taking a minute longer. Let's see the date of it. So I'm just going to make this statement and then maybe they won't cut my head off because I won't give more details because I don't know more details because I didn't look for more details. But you need to pay attention because the Pentagon has hall monitors. What are hall monitors? Darn, I guess it was further back than what I thought. I may have to give up because I understand that you have a short attention span. And if I don't give you a lot of stuff really quick, okay, you'll click off. Oh, darn, but you need this information. Yeah, but I'm bored. And if you don't keep me stimulated, I won't stay here. Nope. There we go. Alien invasion. Oh, 28th of January. We're March 3rd. Oh, darn, I have a lot of maps. Okay, and that would also explain if there's going to be polar cap shift. That might explain why the pyramids are coming up in the Gulf of America, because those stabilize, the pyramids stabilize. So, let's go back to, thank you, Savvy. She read my English book, Creation, World Peace, in less than 30 minutes. Great. I needed it to be a short read because of people's attention span. Thank you, Savvy. And if you found any mistakes, let me know because we will do a second edit to clean up anything that we did not get correct in the first edit. Thank you. It's already up on Amazon. It's called Creation. Creation. World Peace by Francis Fox. And it's in both languages. So now let's get back to the whole Galactic Federation doubling down on the United States, Gulf of America, Mexico, North Pole. Anchoring. I'm going to review again, and then we'll get on to the mantra. In the original Lord's Prayer, it doesn't say deliver us from evil. It says, help us to be in the present, which means not disassociated, which means your mind has enough of the earth element. You can get the earth element by laying in the grass, being outside a lot, going to mountains. You should also eat a lot of root vegetables. You can also get the earth element by watching videos of mountains, earth, forests, lots of trees. Our mantrista videos, sensory therapy videos, several of them have a lot of the earth element. The most interesting is the one called El Poder de los Mantrita, or the power of the Mantrita, the movement that we have for several years that we've gotten together to help different countries and to understand life so that we can apply it to our personal lives and then to our countries, whatever. So the earth element, you can get it through art. The only thing is you're going to have to be staring at it a lot to be able to get enough of it, because the intention of that element, if it's a tree in a painting, the intention is to ground your roots, you give you the earth element. But how many minutes a day are you going to stare at that? Now these videos that we have, and I'll put the one on that I think that you should be playing a lot. There's actually two of them. The one with the caves, earth element, crystals, earth, and then the one with the, you can see the feet of people dancing in the forest. You need to get very rooted and grounded, and you can get it through those videos, and those videos are 10 hours long. Now you don't have to stare at it for 10 hours, but if you have it in like your office is going to get enough of the earth element. You need enough of the earth element. If the whole polar shifts is going to happen, what's the relationship between the ETs appearing and polar cap shifts? I have no idea, but I would say here it looks like there's something of a relationship. So in the Lord's Prayer, it doesn't say deliver us from evil. We don't have to be delivered from evil, and the evil can be the ETs if we are rooted and grounded. Now, what is the emotion that disconnects us the most from being rooted and grounded? It's fear. What is it like? It's in the Bible 300 and sometimes, the word fear. And to deal with fear, the mantra is easy. Even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself. That will help to reduce the fear, but you still need the earth element. You still need the earth element. Okay, so start filling up on it. Stop going to places like Disney and big cities and shopping centers, and start going to parks and to mountains and to places where there's a lot of plants and trees and dirt. Get yourself filled with the earth element. Now there are no more laters in human history. This is it. This is crunch time. This is D-Day. I don't know. We could say it's bad luck we're having to deal with the whole sex trafficking thing. I don't think so. The trick of the matter is that the planet ends in Revelations and the apocalypse. Apocalypse means to unveil, to reveal. What's getting unveiled and revealed is the importance of sex and how much that human instinct, it's an instinct, it's not a choice, it's an instinct, how much that instinct has been completely trampled, misunderstood, not taken care of. So we go into the end with an issue. All of our issues are associated with a part of our body and a part of our homes. Let's see how quickly I can get something up for you, because I just found it again recently. Let me bring it up. No, it's too much. I have too much on this computer. Let me try if I do desktop. No. That would have been nice. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get it now to show it to you. But your energy center that deals with your sexuality is 2 inches underneath your belly button. Coincidentally, that energy center is called the sacral chakra. It's not called the sexual chakra, the sacral chakra, as in sacred. So the part of us that channels our sacredness, channels our sexuality. We don't know that. We don't know that. And we didn't take care of it. And you can say that has nothing to do with sex trafficking. Sex trafficking has to do with bad people. Yes, absolutely, it has to do with bad people, but it has to do with humans limping in terms of sex, that they would need traffic children and adults to have sex, or that there'd be the level of pornography we have. So the book that I'm putting out, I hope it'll be this week, is called Sex. We Need to Figure This Out. We should have tackled this way before we were having issues of population collapse. But let's go back to the ETs, the sex, disassociation. One of the biggest boosts that you can give your sexuality is to have enough of the earth element, even though that's not the element of that chakra. The element of that chakra is water, which has to do with flow. Are we allowed to flow sexually? No. There are more restrictions on sex than, oh my God. And our religions have been, they've made it their full-time job to stop the flow of sexuality. They even got Jesus Christ involved in this. What do I mean? Well, most devout or very Catholic people, and women especially, their favorite object is a cross with Jesus Christ crucified on them. And the favorite place to put it for a lot of them is right above their marriage bed. Can we get any crazier? A man that we were told that never had sex with, told. And we have that over the marriage bed, and we wonder what happened to sexuality. I'll never forget. This is like just a cute aside. I had a shaman visit me from Mexico, and one of his specialties was feng shui, relationship between your home and your destiny. And he was paid handsomely to read 2 homes while he was in Miami, and I went with him because I always like to learn. And when we finished with the second home, and both of them coincidentally were single females that wanted him to diagnose the energies of their home. And when we finished with the second one, we were sitting outside waiting for I don't know what. And he said, "Did you notice something?" And I said, "What?" He said, "Did you notice these 2 females are single and they both said they want a mate?" "Yeah." He said, "Did you notice what they have on their walls?" And I, "No, I didn't." He said, "Well, they have the cross over their beds." Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. Jesus Christ crucified over a bed. And did you notice what they have, the rest of what they have on their, right next to their bed and in their living room? Photographs, figurines of angels, their niece in their first communion outfit, them and their 3 sisters, no male figures. Mind you, male energy channeled in your right leg is the energy of power. Power means to act and to do. It doesn't include abuse. Cancel power. These women, Catholic Church helped. Cancel power. No, 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 no. But you, as a human being, whether you're male, female, okay, it doesn't matter. Your right leg channels the male energy of power, and your left leg channels the female energy of wisdom. So, truncated power. That means somebody else will have the power in your life. So, and through the truncating the whole sexual process, there's certainly part of the process of taking away something that's very important in a planet where God gave us free will. Free will, no power, you're not getting any place. So I'm going to quit with that. Let me see from my notes if there's something else. Okay, so then if there is an ET invasion, whether it happens or it's threatening to happen, grab Buddhism and their prayers, grab them for dear life, because your Catholic prayers, your Jewish prayers, and all the rest of them do not include taking care of that issue. And I'm not trying to promote Buddhism. I thought I had finished with Buddhism. Though I adore the Buddhist monks and the Dalai Lama. But no, 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 no. Come back, come back, come back, come back. Because if they have the ETs in their prayers, they know a lot about them. What are they not sharing? Well, why on earth would they share anything with us? Why would they share anything with us? We don't even have kindergarten knowledge about ETs. Why would they share their level of knowledge with us? They're not going to. And they didn't. And they're not. We got to weasel it out of them. So let's do that. Let's weasel it out of them. There's time for a lot of us to step up to bat and talk about things we've never talked about, because people are going to say we're crazy. We're still dealing with that issue with me and my family. Oh my God. Oh my God. Talking about everything that I talk about, okay, had many people saying that I was mentally ill. Meanwhile, some of the people talking about me being mentally ill are dead drunks, okay, that have blackouts. That's being mentally ill. Have tried to kill themselves. That's being mentally ill. But I'm the one that's mentally ill because I'm talking about something that's really not acceptable. You better make it acceptable really, 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 really quick. And I'm not suggesting you turn and become a Buddhist. It's not a religion, by the way. You can't turn into a Buddhist. They are a philosophy based on the human mind. Oh, wow, that's kind of novel. It's really good. Do they talk a lot? No. But I know why they don't talk a lot. If what I'm talking about stuff that's real, that you can find in old documents that are hundreds of years old, and people say I'm mentally ill, can you imagine what they would have done to the Buddhist monks who dress the way they dress? I look like a regular modern person, and I'm kind of happy that I'm kind of okay financially, because if I were poor, I'd be really mentally ill. When you're a little bit okay with money, then I'm not wealthy. Then you're kind of okay. You know, you could say a little bit of crazy things. I remember when I left my business, then we're going to do the mantra. Many years ago, I retired because I had to align with my mission. I didn't even know what that was. I just knew it had to do with all this extra information I had. I remember that my daughter was very concerned. Mom, please tell me you're not going to stop dressing. Of course, I'm going to dress. She was right, because I got very lax about that for a long time. It wasn't a priority. Survival was a priority. But I remember I said to her, listen, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody that I'm rich, which she and I both knew that I wasn't. Certainly not in our world, I wasn't. Just tell people that I'm rich and that I'm a little bit eccentric, and that'll take care of it. You know, oh yeah. So and so's mother, she's eccentric. If I was a deadbeat poor person, she wouldn't be able to. I don't know whether she said that to people or not, but it felt like it was instinctive on my part just to say, you know, they think I'm rich. Tell them I'm eccentric. Rich and eccentric, you can do that. Yes, you can't be poor and be talking a lot about this kind of stuff, because definitely, definitely you're mentally ill. One day I'm going to get really in touch with my rage at what a lot of people did to me. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do a mantra. But let's go ahead and do a mantra that can help for you to know what needs to happen for you to be safe. Because I don't know, are we all going to get a Galactic Federation spaceship? Remember that the spaceship is an extension of their mind. Oh, here we go again. This tightened up. Here we go again. So if somebody can remember what I was saying the last time that my throat tightened up, that just means it's really important. So maybe you're not going to have a galactic spaceship on top of your house, but how about if you start to work on deserving to have the Galactic Federation protect you? And how do you do that? Well, what's happening in the United States? The United States is getting grounded and landed in the truth. And let me tell you, I know that the people in power now, Trump and his team, are like shaking in their boots at what's going to happen when all this truth comes out. What is so scary about this truth? They're doing it anyway. They're bringing it out anyway. It takes a lot of guts. So, what do you need to have happen in your home and in your company? It needs to be aligned with the truth. What's the truth? What is the truth? You hate your product and you know it's not really good for people and you're doing it anyway? I'm not sure how much protection you'll get, but not because of a good or bad. It's not an evil or dark versus light. It's a bottom line truth. You can't knock down truth. You can beat it up, you can hide it for a long time, but eventually it's going to come out. And now's the time because we are in the apocalypse, the end of the apocalypse. Apocalypse means to unveil, to reveal. The truth is going to be revealed. So you need to grab a hold of what is the truth in your family, in your home. If you don't really want to be in your home, you can't stand it, it may collapse, it may go up in flames, something may happen. And when you say, oh, I lost my home, well, but you didn't want your home anyway. Yeah, but I didn't want to lose it. No gray areas. So I'm going to play the music. I'm going to show you one of the music videos that I am recommending that you have on 10 hours a day, 20 hours a day. One is the one that I play a lot, which is the one with the blue and the in the caverns, and it's all crystals and caverns and big trees. And then I'm going to show it to you for just a second, and then we're going to go to the video that is very earth. That's called the power of the mantristas. It's beating the earth element. Make sure your home is grounded. How can you do that? Opening the windows a significant time every day. Most people cannot do that. Oh my God, you're going to be hot? Well, that's not acceptable. It's better to die with an ET invasion or something else than to be hot. Now, sweating? No, 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 no. Okay. Well, then I suggest you use these uh, sensory therapy videos because they will work. They will make a huge difference. They also help repair because we have the trilling in all of them. Trilling is the sound that birds make when they chirp, and that repairs what is damaged by the frequency of Wi-Fi. Okay? And the mantra is going to be, we're just going to go simple. Even though I am I'm making it long, but this is what I am getting. And if there's okay. Even though I would be afraid of ETs declaring themselves openly, I love and accept myself. So let me show you for a second. And these are in my, this is the one. Okay, we have that 10 hours long in our YouTube channel, Francis Fox Reveals. Go to the playlist that says Mantrista Movement. Right now, I will give you Mantrista music. This is the link. Okay, this link. And then the one we should do now for 5 or 7 minutes is this one, which is also, we're talking about the earth element. Not only would this be something of a defense against beings that can't function well where there's earth element, you don't want them to be able to function well in your home. And it's also where in the Lord's Prayer, it says, it doesn't say deliver us from evil. It says help us to be in the present, which means not disassociated, which means rooted and grounded. So let's go ahead with that for like 7 minutes. Okay, so if something happens with the ETs, then I suggest that you give a lot of barbecues. Why barbecues? Because barbecues are done outside. You'll be picking up the earth element. What you can't do is close yourself in hermetically, because then you're closing yourself off from the earth element unless you're playing our videos. There's a lot of really nice videos and documentaries that have a lot of the earth element. The problem is they're not that long. You watch them 2 hours, that's it. When you have these videos from part of the Fox Sensory Collection, um, with the Mantrista movement, you're getting frequencies, the sounds of the music, the instruments, the images are transferring to where it is that you're playing it in your environment. And you could do it while you're sleeping. And it offers you a lot of protection. Anyway, a lot of people that join the Mantrista movement, in the sense of joining us in our chats at night, um, there's no longer as much scrambling and screaming having to do with what's going on with our kids, because they're just putting on the music all night long and then not letting the kids sleep with cell phones. Makes a huge difference. So we're calling it quits now. I want to remind you that I'm looking for help in bringing in a group of people that need to be in this country, that might have some information or at least some ceremonies for us having to do with ETs, because it's the only group that I know that from day one includes ETs in their prayers. If you know somebody else, let us know. Um, can we ever wrestle from them the information that they have about ETs? I'm not sure that that's what we need. What we need is the protection. But maybe we can also get information. I don't know, because they're not very chatty. They're great, but they're not very chatty. I think maybe they learned something that I didn't learn, which is when you have so much advanced knowledge and you share it, then you get what happens with me and my daughter. Mom, what are people going to say? Well, tell them that I'm rich and that I'm an eccentric. Half of which was true. The eccentric, the rich part wasn't. But what can I tell you? Anyway, we will see you back. Okay? And we are definitely in interesting times. And definitely what you believed in before may not be working now. And definitely, if you can't deal with, if you still cannot deal with the third eye on the dollar bill, I feel really bad for you. If you cannot recognize or don't know that the third eye symbolizes wisdom, far reaching sight to where you reach the level of wisdom, if you still think it's the bad guys that use the symbol to control you, you're not going to do well in this next phase. You are not going to do well. Somebody right now in the chat say, I don't like those triangles. I'm not liking this at all. Okay. Sometimes I remember all the times I would say, you really need to get this stuff out to the public. And they would say, the public doesn't want this. They don't want this. They don't want to have to worry their pretty little heads about it. Maybe they're right. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Bye.